Good afternoon, and thank you for clicking on the ETBU Sportsnet today at goetbtigers.com. Hello, I'm Mike Midkiff, voice of Tiger Athletics, and we're once again live with ETB Extra from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. Of course, last Wednesday, if you clicked in at noon, you didn't find anything, and the reason why was ETBU was on spring break, so did not have a show. Plus, the ETB Tiger basketball team was in the process of traveling to the NCAA Division III Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games they played in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. First up the bat today on ETB Extra, we're going to talk Lady Tiger softball with head coach Janae Shirley. And Coach, I know that as we sit here today in CC's, we're watching the rain fall, and I know as a softball coach, you do not like to see that.
No, it's this year we've seen a lot of it, so it's definitely made for an interesting start.
I know traveling in Wisconsin last week, different than the time that we went there in 2010,
Right.
a little bit closer to winter. Now I know why the teams up there do not get to play. We still had ice on the rivers, ice in ponds, and as I looked at softball fields and baseball fields, they were in like winter conditions up there.
Yeah.
So no wonder they don't get to play very many games at the beginning of the year. But now you're facing the weather, and you've only played 8 games, but you are 8-0.
Yeah, one of the things that we're actually facing right now is most of the northern teams have actually played more games than we have because most of them went on spring break trips and, got 14, 15 games in. And unfortunately, all of our spring break games got rained out or moved or whatever. So we kind of are a little bit behind as far as games played right now.
I counted it up. I don't know if this is correct. You've had 7 games canceled in the last 2.5 weeks.
It's been crazy. It actually has. We've had 4, I know for sure, canceled, and then we've had 2 series moved. So that's 6 games that have been moved. So it's just been insane.
Let's talk about the 2 games that you got in yesterday against Laterno. The game was scheduled for the weekend, but because of rain and weather, you had to keep pushing back the date, and you finally got to play last night. Now, in game 1, you go into the top of the 7th, tied 2-2. So I get a text from my friend Jason Souls, and so I pick up the live stats. And next thing I know, you've scored 9 runs in the top of the 9th. How did you do that?
Well, one of the things going into that game is the last time that we saw any kind of live pitching or anything like that was the last game we played at Mary Baylor. And so we knew that there was going to be some adjustment period just going into the game. And our approach was just, see the ball and do the little things. And it did. It took us a little while to adjust to, live pitching and just being out there and stuff like that. And, one thing that's been really nice is we have girls from last year's team that have been in pressure situations and are gritty and compete. And, we had a couple of those kids step up last night and just kind of broke it open and opened the door for us to be able to finish that game off.
So you won game 1 against Laterno by a final score 11-3. Have you ever seen a player hit 2 home runs in the same inning? Lacey Lindsay did it for you last night for your Tigers.
I've never seen that happen before. Last year we had kind of a historic game against, I think it was Laterno again, where we hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning. And it was in 1 game, and that was a crazy game. But Lacey Lindsay just really was seeing the ball good yesterday, and she had good at-bats when we needed her to have good at-bats and really stepped up. She, though she's only a sophomore, she really showed to be a veteran yesterday.
How well did Shelby Parker pitch last night?
Oh my gosh, she kept us in that ball. She was one of the main reasons why we won. Obviously, why we won that game. We were struggling at the plate, and Shelby kept us in it long enough to be able to come back and give her the runs that she needs. She was, I think she had 19 strikeouts or something like that. She had a good game, and they were, both her and KJ. I guess just the fact that they hadn't pitched in a while, they were ready to go. And she showed that she's a senior for a reason, and she's been on the mound for us for a long time, and she did what we needed her to do.
After you win game 1 11-3, you got to regroup and get into game 2. It's tied once again 3-3 going into the 7th, but then as you mentioned a while ago, you've got some experienced players from last year who like to play softball and are gritty. And once again, you get the runs in the top of the 7th to win by a final score of 5-3. Take me through that top of the 7th and what you were going through as a coach and your at-bats.
Yeah, it just, that second game was, it's like, oh, here we go again. We're in the same situation. But this, one thing I can say about this team is they're gritty, and they, we haven't figured out what makes us tick yet because we haven't played enough games, and we don't know exactly where to put people in lineup and what moves we need to make and stuff like that. But when it came down to getting it done, they did a great job of having good at-bats, getting base runners, and putting us in a position to be able to win that game.
KJ McClendon was your winning pitcher. She's 4-0 in the year, just like Shelby Parker. How did KJ pitch last night?
KJ did good. She, struggled a little bit. KJ was throwing really hard last night, and sometimes for her that affects her control a little bit, and she struggled a little bit with that, but came through and, again, did what we needed her to do in order to put us in a position to win. And Shelby came in and finished that game. We were at a point where we needed to go ahead and finish it and shut them down, and Shelby came in and got the 2 big outs, and that was huge for us.
So the 2 good runs that you get for the win, 5-3 in top of the 7th. Lacey Lindsay with an RBI single to left center, and then Sarah Clements a double down at the right field line for the other run to knock in. I know Sarah could not play because of an injury. How thankful are you that she is rehabbed from that and is playing the softball that she kind of left off last year at this point when she got hurt?
She did an amazing job after she had her surgery. She had been through that whole process before she tore her ACL when she was younger, and she knew the effort that she had to put into training and coming back from that. And this is her senior year, and she's one of those players that we got really lucky with her. She didn't hit her peak until after high school, and so we got a player that's really just, she's been lights out for us. She's a great leader, and when it comes down to, crunch time, she's always one of the kids that steps up. She has good at-bats, and she comes from a great program where they know how to compete, and she's done a good job for us.
Well, Game 3 of the series against LeTourneau is scheduled for today at 5 p.m. And in my notes, I put weather permitting. Right. And as we sit here at noon today, the rain is coming down. Yeah. More than likely, you'll have to cancel that game.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. Their field conditions, we're supposed to play at their field. Their outfield was just a swamp. Sarah was playing left for us, and there's a couple balls that, she made the plays that we expected her to make, but there's a couple times she fell and got up and caught the ball, and just had a really hard time moving out there. So I'm not sure how much more water their outfield can take and us still be able to actually play the game. But I think everybody's kind of fighting the same thing. Our conference rule is we have 3 days to get those games in once we start. So, there might be some shuffling that goes around if we aren't able to get in today. I don't know. It's this is the story of this season.
How does that mentally play on you as a coach and your players with a situation where you're shuffling your schedule all the time? You come to the park thinking maybe we'll play, but then it's too wet. And then like this series with LeTourneau, if you can't get this game in 3 games in 3 days after today, if it gets canceled, then you just lose it, right?
Right. You just can't make it up. It's frustrating for us because we are, we're 20 minutes away from LeTourneau and feel like we can make those games up at any point, but that's not the conference rule. I know my kids there for a while were just almost getting depressed about it because it's like they get their hopes built up and they get excited to play, and then, we can't play today. Or, Monday was actually a beautiful day, and we weren't able to play then because their field was still just wet as could be. So it's a emotional roller coaster, but I think how they handle this and how they come back from, all these missed games, rescheduled games is really going to help prepare them. If they handle it correctly, will help prepare them for later in the season. So, we're going to get backed up and we're going to have to play games, in a row, and how they handle that is going to be a test to how the season will go.
I'm wondering, it's just a crazy question I'm about to ask you, and Janae knows I ask her crazy questions sometimes. With all the time you had to spend in the gym, have you come up with any new drills for your team to go through?
Well, last week we actually got to the point where we just sent them home because there is only so much that you can get done in the gym. And for us in our indoor facility, it's really hard to hear and go over things. And so you're limited to what you can get done in there without creating bad habits. But they've gotten a lot of swings in, and I think our biggest thing right now at the point in our season, we need to play, we need to practice, and we need to string a couple days together in order to steadily get better. But we make the most of what we're given and go from there.
Visiting with Janae, Shirley, head softball coach here at East Texas Baptist University. Let's look ahead on your schedule. If you get the game in today, hopefully, I doubt it, but then you got another game tomorrow against UT Tyler. Got a single game scheduled for Thursday, 2 for Friday. Of course, UT Tyler, for their schedule, they've been able to get in 15 games so far to your 8. This is a crucial series that needs to be played in American Southwest Conference.
Yeah, it does. I think Tyler's been in a unique situation to where, like, when we've gotten our home games rained out, they've been on the road, and we weren't able to get our Trinity series in. They were, so it's kind of stacked up for them to be able to get those in. But yeah, it is. We do have a lot of season left to play, and I know my kids are ready to play and excited to play, and they've showed that they're, they may not have got the reps outside, but they're going to do what it takes to fight. And Tyler is. They're always a competitive team, so we got to show up and play our ball.
Now, if you can't get the game in Thursday and Friday, then you have a game Sunday against Wisconsin Eau Claire, which is one of our favorite cities in the world because the team won a national championship in 2010. It's Military Appreciation Day. I want you to talk about why the Tigers hold a military appreciation emphasis at a game.
Several years ago, we had quite a few girls on the team that their parents were like career military people, and that was something that they were really passionate about. It's crazy. We're doing our thing over here, and just go every day are allowed to be free, and it's because of these people that are willing to sacrifice their lives for us, and it's such a huge thing that we can't even grasp how many people's families put their loved ones are in situations to where they could lose their lives in order to allow us to be able to live freely every single day. And so just taking time to respect that and honor that is, means the world to, those people, but it also helps us understand what we have every day.
So the way the schedule looks like right now, the Tigers are scheduled to play at 5 p.m. today over in Laternal, try to finish up that 3-game series. They won both games last night. Then Thursday and Friday have a single game. Thursday scheduled against UT Tyler, doubleheader scheduled against Friday, and then Sunday, Military Appreciation Day out at Taylor Field, 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. start. Coach Shirley, any final things that you want to say before we go?
No, just pray for no rain. I've never said that before in my life. I'm from West, the Panhandle where we don't get rain, and you never say that, but we'd like a break. Send it to the people that don't have it.
All right. Well, Coach Janae, Shirley, thank you for being our guest today on ETBU Extra. Hopefully the Lady Tigers will get back on the field, all right? All right, now go enjoy your lunch here at CC's Pizza here in Marshall, Texas. Well, we're going to take a short little break. We're going to kill the microphones to bring in our next guest here on ETBU Extra. I will want to say one thing. The new National Fast Pitch Coach Association poll came out today. Tufts University, who won the national championship last year, is ranked number 1. The Tigers number 2 tied with Salisbury, and Texas Tyler number 4. Louisiana College from the American Southwest Conference at 12-1, ranked number 21. So 3 teams in the American Southwest Conference ranked. Coming up next, we'll have our next guest here on ETB Extra.